Ducks vs. Canadiens game wasn't embarrassing enough for the Ducks, the ending sure was. I think most of the way this game ended was because of the interference no call on Vatrano that led to the last goal. But at that point, what's the difference between losing 4-0 or 5-0? So the Ducks really took the saying, if you can't beat them to heart, starting with a semi-big hit on Gooley by Carrot. Of course, the Habs take exception, and surprisingly, the Habs get the extra 2 and the Ducks score on the power play. But the Ducks were too focused on taking hits and fighting during it, leaving Evans all alone in front. Luckily, Dostal was good in this game, so he saved it. And also, Henrique, our #1 trade bait, fights during it. He better not get hurt and ruin our first-round pick chances. Glad to see the boys weren't tired with all the effort they used during the game. Not. And on top of all of that, for some reason, Ross Johnston skates down to the end of the ice when the game is over. Maybe a Habs player said something, but who cares? You're not going to see them again this season. Ross then gets cross-checked and sucker punched, but he caused it all, so you get what you get. Just absolute trash from Johnston. I'm glad Cronin likes having his grit in the lineup over a player who would actually bring some offense to the lineup, and Leeson or even McGinn would be better. Not to mention a couple people in the AHL too. Glad Ross got his 6 minutes and 52 seconds on the ice. Everyone else was over by 10 minutes, by the way. Look, I'm all for having a guy who protects the players, but Ross is not intimidating. He doesn't even know what's going on half the time.
Who's that, sorry?
Is he turning into Cronin's version of Derek Grant with Eakins? One thing for sure, Johnston is Crow's Valentine. I don't know at this point, but we better be seeing some changes to the roster, coaching staff, or something in the next couple days, because it's still better than last year, but it's getting pretty close at times. I'll send it to Sean to recap the game because I was not about to say some of those Habs players' names.
We were going to mention that Mason McTavish was back from his sun or upper body injury at the end of the video, like we usually do for injuries, but he took a penalty 18 seconds into the game. Guess he really missed his old friend. The Habs wouldn't score on it, but it would definitely give the Habs all the momentum, especially on the forecheck, causing the Ducks to make fresh-baked apple pie turnovers all period long. The Ducks did show a little sign of life the last minute or so with back-to-back posts from Ross Johnston.
Who's that, sorry?
When Ross Boss is the one being interviewed, you know the Ducks did bad. Thank goodness for Lucas Dostal and the pipe for saving our bacon 3 times, because the Ducks definitely should have been down after the first. It's like the Ducks knew that too, because less than 2 minutes into the second, Jake Evans scores on the rush. Fowler couldn't decide who he wanted to take on the 2-on-1, and Evans was all alone. The rest of the period would be worse than the first, and Habs captain Suzuki would get 2. One on another 2-on-1 and another on the power play as everyone crashes the net and leaves Suzuki all alone. We would get a fight in this period, if you want to call it that. Ross Boss versus the Sheriff, as he prefers to be called, not Wi-Fi. Ducks end the second on the PP and don't do anything with it in the third. The Habs would get another power play and they score on it. Suzuki does a no-look pass that somehow gets through everyone and Slafkovsky has a wide open net. Habs get another 2-on-1 thanks to an interference hit on Vatrano by the Sheriff, and it would be so that makes sense. Congrats to him. The Ducks act like crybabies at the end, like Kim mentioned at the start. Ducks lose 5-0, giving the Habs their first shutout of the season and first career shutout for Caden Primo on a Ducks season-low 13 shots. Previously, it was 16. This had to be the Ducks' worst game of the season, and that's saying something, because there are starting to be too many to count on that front. The score easily could have been worse too, if not for Dosty. 4 of the goals against were cross creases. Not much he could do, but he was good tonight. Just an embarrassing effort from the Ducks in this one, and there is really no excuse for that type of effort with all the rest they had. Maybe it was too much rest. I don't know. At least the Kings lost worse than us, 7-0. The Ducks better be ready and mad next game as they continue on their road trip taking on the Ottawa Senators Thursday at 4 p.m. The Sens are shockingly in a similar spot in the standings as the Ducks. If there is one positive from this game, it's that we got some players back. Already mentioned McT, and I wanted to make some pun about our lineup looking minty fresh tonight, but it obviously was not. Either way, Pavel Mintyukov made his return to the lineup after going down with a separated shoulder January 9th. It was supposed to be a 6-week recovery, but he is back 2 weeks earlier. Leo's sharing that secret sauce, right, Rex? Kaloran is also traveling with the team on this trip and looks like he should return soon. The latest update on Zegras is that he's still on crutches. Unfortunately, we also got some more bad news as it appears Tristan Luneau may not play again this season as he continues to recover from a knee infection. Hoping for a speedy recovery for Loons, so he is ready to go full-time in the NHL next season. That's it for this video. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to put as much effort into this one as the Ducks did tonight. So go Ducks!
Lukasz Dostal was the best penalty killer that period. What impresses you about how dialed in he gets before a game?
Who's that, sorry?
Lukasz Dostal, your netminder tonight.
Oh.